Welcome everyone to Taste Different Gaming Appetizers. And tonight we're going to talk about Destiny 2. And they have a new Zavala. So they finally found a voice actor to replace the late Lance Riddick. It's Keith David. If you don't know his name, you probably recognize his voice if you're a gamer. So he's been in Halo and my favorite, Mass Effect, just to name two. Got a larger list than that, and you've probably seen him in movies. So they basically announced that they are not going to redo any of Lance Riddick's voice, any of the voices that he recorded. They're just going to start new. I don't know how they're going to do the whole voice change thing, or if they're going to try to make, if they're going to try to sync the voices, make Keith David sound a little bit more like Lance. But I don't know how they're going to do that. But one of the nice things is that Keith came online and posted a video about how much he loved what Lance had done to date and how he's going to just try to continue on with the legacy that Lance has left behind, and then Bungie also posted a little excerpt from themselves about all of it. So, if you don't know and you've been living under a rock, Lance passed away earlier this year, and we've just been kind of waiting to see what they're going to do with his character. And so they're going to keep it and just have a new voice actor. How that's going to happen, like I said, we don't know. But both of them are, Keith is a very prolific actor. He's in a lot of television and movies and in games. So, like I said, I know him. His voice to me is from Mass Effect. Now, I know he's in Halo, so Bungie is used to working with him. So it'll just be another continuing of that relationship. So it's good. I think this is a good move for them. And it seems to be most of the fans from all the Reddits and the Twitter forums and the Twitter streams or X or whatever the heck they're calling Twitter these days, seem to all be thumbs up, all happy about this decision. Cause I can't see, in my opinion, a better choice to continue on this character. And like I said, they sound their voices are very similar, but they're very distinct too. Like I can hear Keith's voice and I can hear Lance's voice, and I can distinguish them, but they're pretty close. So I think this is a very good thing and a very good decision by Bungie. Because I was afraid, I'm like, what are they going to do with Zavala? Are they going to kill him off? Now, granted, I am not caught up. I have not played the new season at all. I played with the new expansion that came out, but I have not played anything past it. I've not jumped into any of the season, so I'm not quite caught up. I'm not too happy with the current season, but the voice actors had nothing to do with it. It's the storytelling of Bungie's getting a little stale, a little messed up for me, but good move. And fans are going to be just fine, just happy with this. And I'm glad to hear that they are not going to redo Lance's voice in the past. So, they're not going to Dinklebot this thing like they did with, So, Nick, what do you think about the new voice of Zavala?
I was kind of hoping Zavala would go out in a blaze of glory, is what I was hoping they would have done with the character, but they did the second best thing. I think having Keith's voice in there works perfectly. Works great. I watched the video of him talking about it, and he's Arbiter from Halo, and of course I know him from Mass Effect as well. But I always think of him as Arbiter. But it fits perfectly. Like I don't think they could have found a better voice actor to take over for Zavala. In this regard, right? Lance Riddick did a really great job with Zavala in the game. And so, that's really hard to find someone that can compare and compete with his voice and in that character. And I think they found the perfect solution for that. So I read that too. A lot of people online were pretty happy with the decision. Some people were like me, hoping that Zavala would go out in a blaze of glory, but that's okay. I think a lot of people were kind of in the same boat I was. Like, if that's not what they're going to do with the character, then great. This was a great choice. Right. It's awesome. I mean, I agree with Destiny 2. this latest expansion, right? The Neptune one, it feels to me like that's the weaker of the expansions. I really liked the one before that, and a few of the ones before that and stuff. I enjoyed those when we played through them. But this one, like when we played through the story, it wasn't, I don't know, it just wasn't grabbing me like the other ones were. So it's unfortunate, but it's nothing against the voice actors, right? They just do what they're, they read their lines and do what they're supposed to do. It's like you said, it's the story and the way that's being told, the storytelling that Bungie's doing is kind of taking a nosedive. But yeah, this is great. So for those, I mean, Zavala is a pivotal character in the game. So I think, I'm sure the idea of making him go out in a blaze of glory was probably, thrown out there, but I think they feel like they've got to keep this character because he's such a pivotal player within the game, a pivotal character, that they have to keep him somehow. And so that, they went with the best option they could for that. So yeah, I'm happy about it. I'm excited. So that's great. It's really good.
Nick wanted them to Cade him. Cade six him right out the door.
Yeah. Yeah. But you can't bring him back like they're doing Cade.
Yeah. That's going to be.
I mean, they could if they wanted to introduce like the new voice actor. They could like have him go out in a blaze of glory. Then he gets resurrected like Cade and or is in the shadow realm like Cade, whatever it was. I don't know. It was one of the season videos that they showed off where they showed Cade in like some Spectre world or something like that. But they could do the same thing with Zavala there and then bring him back and he's got a different voice because the spirits and the shadows changed him in some way, or something like that. I don't know. Something crazy like that. But they could come up with something. I don't know what they'll do for the voice change. I don't know if they'll just like play it off like nothing happened, like everything's kosher and cool, or if they're going to have some sort of something that changes his voice in a way, or maybe changes his character. So now he sounds different, right? Because of some injury or something like that. Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it'll be really hard for me because like I said, I know that him as Arbiter, but to me, all I can hear is Anderson and all I can hear is him yelling Shepard, or whatever in his voice, Anderson yelling at Shepard or telling Shepard, something, that's all I can hear. Mass Effect is probably my favorite game series of all time. So that's all I can hear in my head. So it'll be hard for me to hear Zavala when I hear him talk and not just think Shepard every time he's talking to everybody. He's going to say Guardians and in my head it's going to be Shepard, So it'll be something to get used to. But like I said, I think it's a great choice and I'm glad they didn't kill him off. It's kind of a good legacy to leave behind, to leave his character to continue on after Lance is gone. So it's to me, it's the best decision forward. But some people wanted to see him go out in a blaze of glory like Cade. But it would have been an interesting story to figure out how they would, because I guarantee you, they weren't planning to write him out anytime soon. And now all of a sudden, here he is. We wrote him off, and we got to introduce new leaders.
Well, he's like the Titan, he's the Titan class monarch, right? He's like the head of the Titan class. So they would have to reintroduce a new character to take that role, which they could have done, right? They could have done that. His brother comes in or something. I don't know.
He's in the Vanguard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's a Titan class, right? I believe he's a Titan.
He's a Titan Vanguard.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know how to think about that. Because I don't know. It's weird because I don't think, because I don't remember who replaced Cade. It's that it was that uneventful of a person. Like Cade, obviously Nathan Fillion does a great job as Cade, and he's supposed to come back for the voice acting for that, or is back. That's how bad it is that the person who replaced him isn't memorable enough for me to go, oh yeah, who replaced Cade? I don't know, man. I just cannot. I couldn't see that happening. They'd have to just put in The only way it'd be memorable is if they put in an even bigger actor than Lance, and maybe Keith could have done it as the replacement, the replacement person. But I mean, because the Warlock, and I always forget her name, but the Warlock Vanguard, I don't ever remember her name until I run into her in the tower. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's and I play a Warlock, and so
right. Well, Zavala's like right there as soon as you land in the tower. He's like right there.
Yeah, he does a lot of the cutscene voiceovers, whereas like Ikora, she comes in and out, but I'm always like, who's that? Oh yeah, that's Ikora. Her voice isn't as distinguishable in my opinion as Lance was, or even Cade's, and to me, that's me. Other people may just be able to pick her out in a lineup of people, but her voice doesn't stick out to me as much as like Nathan Fillion and Riddick's. So I don't know, man. I cannot see them killing it off. I mean, I guess if they brought in Arnold Schwarzenegger as the next Titan Vanguard, I guess I can understand it.
Yeah, that would be something, wouldn't it?
I cannot imagine that, get to the ship, Guardians, or whatever. I cannot imagine him yelling into the camera, pretending to be like the stoic leader, like Lance was, It's just going to have, I don't know. Or even like Vin Diesel or somebody else famous is running the line,
Yeah, family.
Family, you got to get back to the tower, or something.
Guardians mean family.
Yeah, Guardians is family. So I don't know. I could not imagine how that's going to play over. And I'm interested to see how they do this transition. I don't know how far in advance that Lance had recorded his lines for Destiny 2. I don't know if he's finished out this season or if he's finished out this entire expansion. So I'm glad to also hear, one of the things that kind of worried me in this day and age is the use of AI to reproduce people's voice. I'm really glad they didn't try to go down that route, because I think I'm on the fence a little bit about it, but I also think I lean more towards it's wrong and immoral to make money and make something off of somebody's voice that's no longer with us and cannot give permission to say yay or nay through an AI format of using their voice. It's one thing to pay tribute to somebody that's not making money off of their voice. Like, I remember when they did the whole, they made money off of it though. So I think it's probably still a little bit in the wrong, but remember they did the holographic Tupac thing and he sung and I'm like, that's kind of a cool tribute, but I also believe they made money off of that situation. So to me, where'd the money go? To go to his family, who technically should own the rights to his voice? I don't know any of that, but having AI do that is kind of a smack in the face to the actor without compensating his family. Now, if they said, hey, we want the right to use his voice and his family owns his estate and his family signs off on a percentage revenue deal or whatever, then I'm fine with that. But you know how it would go. They would start using his voice for free and be like, it's intellectual property and that person's no longer around. That's going to be the next type of law. Just watch is you're not going to be able to use their likeness or voice with AI, because it's copyright, or maybe you got to start copyrighting your likeness and voice. Right. I mean,
just imagine could put out copyrights. I mean, that could definitely be a thing, right? I mean, especially, not at the start for the average Joe, but over time, maybe for the average Joe.
Right. Somebody wants to start using your voice and likeness.
Right.
And they found, like somebody finds your YouTube channel with a bunch of recordings from you. And, you were not very popular, you weren't like big YouTube stars or anything, and they're like, we're going to recreate these people and create our own like 4 Stooges or new 3 Stooges. And these guys are our new Stooges, or whatever, and you're like, I didn't sign off for that. But now you're making me look like a bunch of idiots, and they're like, well, it's free use, right? We found you all over the internet, not copyright protected. So now, like I said, next thing you know, you're going to start copyrighting your appearance and your voice so that nobody can use it. Copyright protected.
I'm going to start today.
Yeah. I mean, AI is doing it now. Have you seen the videos or the not necessarily videos, but more music? They're doing a lot with music now. Like they've got people using AI to help create music sung by an artist who either is no longer alive or are alive in the genre they're not. Like I think they had the whole what was it, Snoop Dogg doing the singing the gin and juice song as if it was in the Jungle Book, you know, and that was partially done with AI. And so,
oh right, yeah, I've seen some of those. Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, they could be making money off of it, right? I don't know. Maybe the whole license holders to that song could probably prevent it, but it's not done. It's using Snoop's voice and it's Snoop's song, so I don't think you can monetize that. But I could be wrong. I don't know how these laws work and everything. But
right.
you know, I've seen a lot of stuff where people sing the songs themselves and they can get monetized, right? Some of the YouTubers get paid by, you know, because they have a cover. They call it a cover, and then they can get paid for that. But the people who just downright use that artist's voice and have them sing a song outside of their genre, how do you prevent that, you know, or stop that? So that was my worry, is that AI was going to start doing Lance's voice. And I'm so glad. There would have probably been a huge backlash for that. Especially if the family's like, we didn't authorize that, the estate holders didn't. So I think it's too dangerous to play around with stuff like that now for people that the community love.
Right. And it's, you know, that would be a lot of legal mumbo jumbo for Bungie, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, they would probably have the court precedence case at that point, right? Because I think, you know, I heard back when, you know, Futurama is back on the air now, and I heard that they were talking about doing something like that for the guy who voices Bender. I forget his name, but he had originally said, I'm not going to be on the show, right? And they were like trying to find a voice replacement. And I had heard somewhere that AI was the reason he came back, because there was talks about AI just taking over his part. And I'm like, I'd be so mad.
Well, he is a robot.
Right, exactly.
Oh.
Bender is a robot. You know, so I don't know. I find that really difficult to do. So I think a lot of these actors are going to start copyrighting their voice and their appearance. So, because they're not given consent. So, and that's what I think it boils down to. Is somebody has to give consent to use your likeness and voice. So huge articles about that now. So, but Nick, you got anything else, you know, about Keith taking over for Lance? It sounds like he's the right man for the job.
No, not really. I mean, I don't have anything else more to say, I should say, but I agree. I think he's the right person. I think Bungie did a good job here of picking the right voice actor to take over for Lance.
Yep. Awesome. Let us know what your thoughts down in the comments. Are you pro continuing on, or did you want him to go out in a blaze of glory? You know, which party do you sit into? And, you know, even though maybe you wanted them to change voice actors, or you wanted to go out in a blaze of glory, what do you think about their decision to replace him with Keith? You know, not really a replacement, but Keith is picking up the torch and taking over for him. So let us know what you think down in the comments. And always, we hope you enjoyed this video and hope to catch you in the next episode.